Alrighty, we are going to be live. Okay. Let us begin. Hello there, my name is Skull. Welcome back to Dragon Age. Sorry about that. Welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Last time we have acquired the urn of sacred ashes, or well, sorry, a pinch of sacred ashes. The urn of sacred ashes is pretty much corrupted now with dragon's blood, thanks to the decision made by Kalrin. And we have awoken Arl Eamon from his deep poisoned slumber. But before and now, we are going to prepare ourselves for the Landsmeet to hopefully overthrow the evil tyrant Logain. As well, it's not really a tyrant; he's just an ass. We have gathered our armies, ready to go to Landsmeet when we can, but at the moment I'm just going to look at whatever other stuff I might have, which I don't believe I have anything else, to be honest. Other than some of this stuff here, I think I'm ready to return back. I know I'm going to be missing some side quests, it seems, but I have done what I could. Before I meet with or speak with them. Before I speak with Arl Eamon, I'm going to make my way to the party camp actually, and I'm going to chat up with the rest of the party members, see how they are right now. If you guys don't remember, we've lost one last time due to the reasoning that I have poisoned the blood. How faithful she is. She thought that I was being evil.
You'll be fighting for your lives.
Good job, Captain. You should tell your boys that they're fighting Darkspawn, not something that they should be easily think they should handle anyway. Alright, we're gonna do our last party camp here, or at least this is a possible last party camp, I don't know. We might be able to do in Denerim. I'm just gonna check with everyone else. Hey, let's pet Scully first of all. Good doggy. He's rolling around, happy he's back. Let's see what we got around here. So let's start up. Well, let's go around Camp Zevran.
What say you?
Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me more about your adventures.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
That sounds like fun.
Haha, you have rather macabre tastes, I see. I like that. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Osrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts?
You killed the prince?
Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Osrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocel from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Osrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
Is this sort of thing common in Antiva?
Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the Crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part.
What'd you do then?
My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history.
You're very lucky indeed.
It's true. I live a charmed life. One of the prostitutes that raised me was a fortune teller. Said I wouldn't die young. She was rather startled by that. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
That was a nice story to tell anyway, Zev. Anything else you want to share?
Say you?
Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me more about your adventures.
Well, the only one that's really worth telling is the story of the mission right before I came to Ferelden.
No?
But no, I would rather not. I shouldn't have said anything.
Why not? What's the problem?
Nothing that I would prefer to speak of. Perhaps another day, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What say you?
Let's get something personal.
Again? I'm game.
Never mind, nothing there.
What say you?
Could answer
By all
questions. I'll just move on. Alright, doesn't want to share? Okay, sure. Liliana.
You've seen and touched Andraste's ashes. They are the holiest thing on this earth, the remains of the Maker's chosen.
Talking something so mundane of power.
Maybe it is belief and faith that imbues them with their power, or just maybe Andraste really was blessed by him.
It's magic.
I do not know if I am worthy to look upon her.
Why do we even revere Andraste?
Why shouldn't I? I don't understand.
Never mind, forget I said anything.
Then let us move on.
That seemed a little bit too close.
Looking for little old me?
I want to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
You were a traveling minstrel. Do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Tell me about the Darkspawn.
Chantry lore says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
I'm trying to think of... So, as far as I know lore-wise in Dragon Age, I might see this as true, but honestly, like, I believe this is where I could say certain that this is the truth about Darkspawn, but there might be something else, I don't know. I have my doubts, but this is really the closest to the truth because, you know, as time passes, history changes, the way how people tell something, that changes over the course of time. And this has been like 1,000, it's definitely been 1,000 years, something like that, for Darkspawn, so... maybe I'm being, like, just thoughtful something else, we'll see. No any stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
Ah, Aveline from Dragon Age. Go ahead.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
Continue, please.
Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
Go on.
Aveline
did she win
won
tourney?
many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
That's terrible.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
That's a cool tale. One of my favorites, actually. Do you know any Ferelden legends?
I know one, told to me by my mother a long time ago. It always chilled me to the bone. Maybe you have heard of Flemeth?
Well, I met Flemeth at Kalrin Wilds.
Are you sure? Was she the Flemeth of legend? Flemeth, the devourer of men? Flemeth, mother of witches? Flemeth, demon-touched, who dwells in the mists?
She didn't introduce herself as such, but she did fight her, so probably it's all true.
Ferelden mothers scare their daughters with talk of Flemeth. They say that if you're bad, Flemeth will spirit you away and bind you to her forever. They also say that Flemeth mourns her lost beauty and will steal yours through your looking glass if she catches you.
Well, alright, tell me the whole story then.
Flemeth's beauty was known throughout the land. She had hair like unto a moonless night, skin as pale as winter's first snow, and eyes as beautiful and perilous as the sea. When she came of age, she came to the attention of the Lord of Highever, Conobar, and he took her for his wife. Conobar soon learned that his young bride had the gift of magic. He kept this a secret, for he feared that she would be taken from him. Flemeth stayed with Conobar for some years, and with his blessing she practiced her art. And then one day, a young poet named Osen came to the castle. Flemeth was captivated by Osen's voice, and he by her beauty, and they fell in love.
What happened then?
Flemeth longed to be with her true love, and she and Osen fled from Conobar's lands, seeking refuge in the Kokari wilds with the Chasing tribes. They lived there happily for many a year, till the day Flemeth received news that Conobar was dying and longed to see her face one last time. Flemeth's heart swelled with pity for the man who once was her husband, and begged Osen to return to Conobar's side with her. But when Flemeth and Osen entered Highever, they were captured by Conobar's men, and Osen was slain in front of Flemeth's eyes. Flemeth was imprisoned in the highest tower of the castle, there to await Conobar's judgment on her. Distraught at the loss of her love, Flemeth plotted revenge against her husband. She summoned a fey demon, intending for it to wreak vengeance on Conobar. But a spell went awry. The demon possessed Flemeth. Turning her into an abomination, the halls of the castle ran red with blood as Flemeth slaughtered Conobar and all his men. The last of Flemeth's humanity melted away, and at dawn, she stole back to the wilds to plot and scheme for 100 years. They say she took to her side many Chasing men, and with their help begat her daughter witches, who even now prowl the dark places of the Kokari wilds.
Well, do you know also that all those children are actually her, just, multiple times over and over again? She's a sick woman. Ooh. Tell me about Elindra and her soldier.
A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her
I already
window
heard
in
the
her
story.
father's
I can skip the
They
story.
say that when Elindra has cried enough,
Like to hear another
"All right,
tale?
it is my job to spin yarns after all."
There was another story I wanted to hear.
Which one?
Do you know anything about the Dalish?
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in the land of their own.
It didn't last.
The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
What do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
So how did Andraste die again?
Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter.
And why did the Maker not save her with his power then?
I have thought on this too. Did he withdraw his sight from her at that moment? Where were all the powers he bestowed upon her? This question has come to me many times, and I have no answer. Perhaps there was no way for Andraste to return to the Maker but through her death. We will never know for sure.
Or maybe he just made the Maker as just a folk tale of stories, and Andraste was just a prophet. You know, we could always go with that one, but let's move on.
Looking for little old me?
Talk about
Yes?
do you have something?
What's on your mind?
I don't know, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
Someone told me this a long time ago.
And you believe everything you hear? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
What's the difference?
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
Do they spy on Ferelden?
Some do. Mostly it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You were burned, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living cloistered in Rue of Ferelden then, if you were a bard?
I found myself in Ferelden, and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Lots of metaphors.
Looking for little old me?
Could you teach me to be a bard?
That's an idea. I've watched you, and I do think you'd find some of my skills quite easy to pick up. Let's just go over there, away from the others, for safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time.
And we get the specialization for bard from her. Thank you very much,
Looking
Liliana.
for little old me?
Let's talk about something.
What's on your mind?
Doesn't she want to reveal anything more? Alrighty, thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry guys if we're not to the main quest. Party needs to be talked first.
What you need?
Check something out first before I continue on. Let's know more about you.
What about?
What's it like to be a warrior in Orzammar?
You get a sword or an axe, and are told to go out and defend your city. It's the best thing in the world. That is until you try to live in the city you saved.
What do you mean?
I mean, they train you to kill, teach you to harness your rage at the first noise you hear, then try to set 100 sodding rules about it. Like those provings. Ancestors show their favor through the strongest arm, right? So why so many rules saying how to fight and when you win and not to bloody kill? Killing's what swords are for.
Why didn't you give you a blunted weapon then?
You can kill with blunted weapons, Warden. Well, maybe you can't.
Oh, okay.
This makes me cranky. Don't you have any other inane questions?
Actually, talk something more some other time.
Alright.
We'll talk more later.
Alright then.
I mean, it's good to know though, at least. I already have a bunch of stuff here. Alright, so to Liliana, we'll give her the seal symbol of Andraste.
Oh, how dear of you. Thank you so much.
Let's go to Locket.
Why, thank you so much.
The golden demon pendant we can give this to Morgan.
A fine gift. You have my thanks.
You're welcome. Alrighty. I don't think he's gonna chat with us anymore. Let's chat with... Hey Stan, how you doing?
Yes,
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Actually, never mind.
Very well.
I want to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak then.
That's not for
Then I
now.
suggest we move on.
Damn, I have nothing else to
As
chat
you
with these
wish.
guys. Sad I won't be able to maybe get all the stuff I need from them, but oh well. I'll serve.
Something on your mind?
I had a dream about the Archdemon.
Yes, me too. And I got the feeling at the end there that it saw us, was aware of us, whatever you want to call it. Could have just been my imagination, I suppose. What do you think?
I think we need to be extra careful.
I thought we were already being extra careful. Does that mean we have to be extra careful now? Great. And there I was enjoying my nap. I guess one thing is certain at least, isn't it? It's official. This is a blight. Something on your mind?
I have some questions.
Of course.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
No more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. Something on your mind?
That's the questions.
Of course.
What changes about you after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
I mean, you've been Grey Warden longer than I have.
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
He wouldn't tell you?
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret, it's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last, my face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Maybe you're just a pig.
That's me, Alistair the Pig. I can go through a trough in 5 seconds flat, just you watch. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind.
Hive mind.
And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
Nightmares. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
His time has come?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The taint. It's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
How cheery.
And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. And there you have it.
I never wondered that, but I understand.
You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
He'll be remembered, Alistair. As will the others.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Inspired moderate constitution, Alistair. Yeah, well, they will rest. We will bring them justice. Some level once we
Something on
do
your
the
mind?
blight. Alright, you're gonna have some questions.
Of course.
What's it like to be Grey Warden with all the others?
I didn't know them for very long. But I guess it was longer than you. You never met them all, did you? They were quite a group. Actually, they felt like an extended family, since we were all cut off from our former lives. We also laughed more than you'd think. There was this one time... Well, you probably don't want to hear stories about men you didn't know.
Moment. Excuse me. Alright. No, I'd like to hear about them.
There was one Grey Warden who came all the way from the Anderfells. What was his name? It was Gregor. He was a burly man with the biggest, fuzziest beard you've ever seen. And the man could drink. He drank all the time, but he never got drunk. Finally, we all made a pool to see just how many pints it would take to put him under the table.
Sounds like you had a hell of a lot of fun.
Sometimes. We were kin of a sort. All of us had gone through the joining, so we knew... Well, anyhow. It doesn't have to be deadly serious all the time. Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he nearly... Until...
A lot of people... I'm sorry, a lot of people have died, sir. A lot more will.
Yes, I suppose so. I thought I was done with this, but it just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by. Nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token of his that I could take with me. That must sound really stupid to you.
You have your memories of him.
I just would have liked something of his to take with me, that's all. Well, there's no use in moaning about it, is there? He's gone. Let's just go.
Yeah, I feel bad for Alistair. Like he knew Duncan for a bit. Even we knew him for a bit, and now he's dead.
I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Do you mind if I ask?
Go ahead, I don't mind.
How about Ogren? You must have an opinion on the smell, at the very least.
I thought you two would get along.
As long as he stays downwind, sure. Once he's had a bit to drink, however, forget that. There is no bit to drink with him.
Want me to talk with him?
No, that would just make it worse. Morrigan told him exactly what she thought of him, and he actually drove her off with a string of expletives I didn't even know existed. You should have seen it. She actually blushed. I was impressed. And then he vomited. Not so impressive.
Yeah. He's an excellent warrior.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I
excellent.
thought you'd say. For a drunk, he's an excellent warrior, right? How he lifts his sword is a bit of a mystery. Though I suppose the point is that he does lift it. And so long as we can point him in the right direction, he charges too. He has gusto, I'll give him that. Zevran, the elf. You can't trust him, can you? Do you believe his so-called vow?
Maybe, we'll see.
That's a lot to put on a maybe, isn't it? He's an assassin. The crows aren't known for giving up. Maybe he's just biding his time.
Well, if he tries anything, he'll die.
Well, at least you're considering the possibility. He just seems shifty to me. What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. Creepy. And he's so quiet for someone so big.
Well, he's dedicated, I'll give him death.
Yet he doesn't seem quite so bad as the Chantry tells us. According to them, his philosophy is vile and evil.
No.
Yet he seems so reasonable. And yet, he killed all those people. He doesn't even deny it. Doesn't that bother you?
You were all killers, Alistair. I mean, that's true.
I don't know if I like the sound of that. But I guess I take your meaning. What about Liliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really believe
Is she
in
crazy?
bullshit?
I mean, she's crazy without a doubt.
Really? I'm not sure I could dismiss it so easily. I mean, it's not as if we didn't need the help when she came to us. And how could she have known? I noticed that you and her have become close. Am I right? The rest of us have talked about it.
No, you're mistaken. I have no truth.
Oh, liar. Suit yourself. I don't know what to make of her. If you look at her when she doesn't see you, she just looks so sad. I almost feel guilty taking her away from her life.
It was her choice.
Yes, I know. Still, I feel badly for her. Morrigan, do you trust her? Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent her with us for some other reason than she said.
You don't really like each other, do you?
Well, aside from the fact that she's a complete and utter bitch, no, I don't like her at all. Why, do you?
I like her just fine.
Great. I am thrilled beyond words. No, really. Enough. I think my curiosity is sated. Let's get back to it, shall we?
Sure, Alistair. I think that's enough. Unless there's anything else you want to tell
Something
me.
on your mind?
Some
Of course.
questions. Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Alright.
About something on your mind?
For not ever mind. But thank you, Alistair, for speaking with me. Alright, so that's mostly everyone. I still got Shale and Morrigan. I'll ask Shale first of all. Oh, I have a new lieutenant actually. Alrighty, Shale. And she's sighing. You still with me, I see.
I am, as I've said. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go.
No, sir, you're quite
No
helpful.
doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue.
No, we already asked her that. I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
I told you killed your former master.
Oh, how interesting. Certainly I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Vague, but not non-existent.
Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
Oh, what sorts of experiments?
I am no mage, and he did not explain himself to me, any more than it would explain itself to a sword. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then nothing.
So he had the kill me button by accident.
Ho, ho, ho. It does like to laugh, does it? But who knows? I may have such a thing. And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me. So they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
I mean, yeah. But you wanted to kill him, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very much so. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
Oh, sounds like you had a good... Maybe it has something to do with your crystals.
Possibly. Except that he was not experimenting with the crystals at the time, I think. But my memory is not good. It may be correct. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it has nothing to fear from me. Much.
Sounds good to me.
Things that it fights, and it fights things often. That is a different story. Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
Can I itch it for you?
Oh,
I have some questions.
doesn't have better things to do.
So how did Wilhelm come to acquire you then?
That part I know, as Wilhelm often bragged
Oh,
about
Wilhelm.
it to whomever was willing to listen to him. He claimed to have found me in the deep roads. I was in the ruins of a Tig, he said, deactivated, with my control rod not far away.
Do you know where in the deep roads this was?
No, that secretive bastard refused to tell me. I would ask and ask, but no. He used to say that one day, if I were compliant and didn't talk back at his wife, he would take me there and I could look around myself. Rotten, lying bastard. If I had his head in my hands now, I would squeeze it like a giant lemon. Squish.
So if he hadn't found you...
I wouldn't have had to put up with the twit, and I would be none the wiser. I don't think I was aware while I was there. Not like in the village. Or perhaps I was. Perhaps that was the dark place, and I simply couldn't see anything. How long could even I sit in the darkness and stare out at nothing, never sleeping? Oh, I do not wish to think of that.
You didn't know why you were there?
I think I remember a battle. It was long before, and then there was darkness. Bah, in short, no, I do not remember why I was there. It makes no difference.
Well, what was William doing in the deep roads?
It was a hobby of his, scavenging. One of the reasons he traveled so much is that he was looking for entrances into the deep roads, old places the dwarves had long forgotten. And then he would sneak down and search for magical treasure, before anyone was the wiser.
Of course. Wouldn't that have been dangerous?
Indeed. He had spells that allowed him to remain hidden and move quickly, but he had no defense against the blight, and worried constantly that he would get sick. If any darkspawn showed themselves, he fled. More often, he would have to fight other scavengers, dwarves who had become tainted. In the end, it killed him. I mean, he found me there, right?
Let's move on.
On then.
Ooh, +7, minor inspired minor strength.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them.
Because I'm not human?
Oh, it's not just that. Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's not only that. Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings?
I mean, I'm a member of House by Duke and... I mean, you were once flesh creature yourself.
Don't remind me. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless.
Yeah, I'll keep it for myself.
Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
No. Got my questions,
It
Shale.
speaks.
Yes, I speak. I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
You watch that village day and night for
I
years?
do not sleep, so yes, and I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it.
Sounds like you were a bit of a voyeur.
Oh, yes. It certainly was the height of intrigue to listen to the accounts of how young Dornan had scandalized the village by his purchase of an Orlesian hat. And the argument that those two muddy farmers had over the price of barley for a whole summer. Riveting. And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons and ravens and sparrows all perching on me day in and day out.
Yes, your bird thing.
It is not a thing. It is a perfectly reasonable reaction to being constantly pestered. I was helpless to react. Those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds, because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been the occasional kind soul to scour me clean, I don't care to discuss this anymore.
And she now hates me. My answer disapproval. Yeah, I know you're feeling those still. And she hates me.
It doesn't have better things to do.
You don't seem like humans much.
That is true. I do not. I'm not interested in getting into a discussion on the subject, however. Ask another time. If it is done asking overly obvious questions, let us find some humans to throw off a cliff or something.
Sorry about that. Had something to do. Alrighty. So I don't think I think Shale's pretty much done.
It doesn't have.
Yep. Okay, she doesn't want to chat anymore. Bodan!
Anything I can do for you, please tell me.
Let me see your words, Bodan. I do like to sell some stuff to you first of all. Or purchase at least. You have another backpack. The Tailoran. Anything else that I want from you? I can sell at least. Give you a solid letter art. Some chainmail gloves. I'll give him Bronca's shield. Large full natural crystal. I think that's it for now. Now, any weapons I want to equip? I really like these two weapons at the moment. We got Eoda Bloodline. I mean, I could replace it with Duncan's Dagger, but I already like Duncan's Dagger, to be honest. You know, Bloodline is actually also a pretty good weapon, it seems. Green Blade is cool, sorts. There's a Spellweaver, Alistair. Idugan Family Shield's pretty good, unless I want to swap it out with something else. I do also like Redcliffe Shield here. Plus 1 power, plus 3 defense, plus 15 electricity resistance, plus 2 to the attack. It would reduce his defense though, and honestly I'd rather have him have a high defense than a high attack. I'll keep the stuff he has in terms of armor though. I'm gonna keep him how he is. He's a good Templar guy. Alrighty. Maybe Sandal could do some enchanting, yes please. Alright, so with my sword. The Nut Crusher, Novice Dwemer Rumor, and Novice. Let's give him a Journeyman Slow Ruin. Zevran's Dead Tig, let's give him another spell resistance. I think we're good for now. Thank you. And last party to talk with here is going to be Morrigan.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
As usual. Can you to become shape changers?
Possibly, if I had the desire to. I do not.
Perhaps you had better find the desire then.
Perhaps you should dispense with your threats. I will pass on my mother's knowledge if and when it suits me.
Whoopsies.
I await your command.
Whoopsies! I'd ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Have you ever hunted by Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
I'm glad you think so.
And I am glad you are so glad. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
Fun? You found it fun?
I found the game fun. I was too young to understand the truth behind what was happening. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Surely more have followed.
Sometimes. Eventually. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you think that was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
Probably right.
An enlightened view, or at least an agreeable one. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
I'm getting the approval back.
I await your command.
Come back here. I'm just pulling on the ropes of approvalment. I discuss something personal.
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Never mind.
I await your command.
Let's ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
So Flemeth is dead. What now?
Now I have enough time to study Mother's grimoire to find a way to prevent her from stealing my body in the future. For she will be back. One day, I have no doubt of that. And if I cannot protect myself, one day I will track her down again in whatever body she inhabits, and she will die again and again if need be. But there is no need to think of such things now. I have you to thank for saving me, so let us return to the task of dealing with the Darkspawn, no?
You know you can always rely on me, right?
Too much could happen in days to come to make such promises. Yet I am grateful. Let us go. There is much to be done before... There is still much to be done.
Repetition, 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 repetition. I think she repeated herself too much over there, but I'll let you there. Well, okay. There's our new man here. Do you need anything?
The Jarl was generous, but rushed. Certain areas could see improvement. We're a mercenary force, Warden. Much of our equipment is self-financed. Were you to commit additional funds, we'd upgrade as we saw the need.
Allied supply crates. Okay, only boss resources you have collected for your troops. Let's turn inquiry for Arl Eamon's knights, so jingle your first turns ahead or two. Let us give them 10 sovereigns. Okay, what resources you have? Yes, let's leave.
The men are ready to follow you anywhere, thanks to your confident investment.
Why, thank you very much. And with that, I think that's enough for party camps. That is all we could probably get in the time. I'm going to quick save over there, and actually not quick save, we'll just do a normal save. I think it's the last camp, but it's been a while since I played, so... Alright, so with us, we're going to take Alistair, yes, Morgan... We'll take Shell this time.
Yes.
We haven't used Shell in a while. And we will return back to Rithcliff Kusil. And we're going to go to Arl Eamon, and we're going to travel out to Denerim. So, first of all though, level up. There we go, it looks good enough. Let's give Rock Barrage, Death Blow. Let's go. Follow me.
Swing and stab! Swing and stab!
And Arl Eamon, here we go.
When you're ready, we shall leave for Denerim.
Well, let's go to Denerim now.
Excellent. I shall make the arrangements. Let us be off to Denerim, and may the Maker watch over us.
Well, please do.
Denerim is the heart and soul of Ferelden. It was the city of King Kalrin had, the birthplace of Andraste. As stubborn as a Mabari, and as good to have on your side. If we defeat Loghain here, the rest of the nation will follow us. By calling the Landsmeet, I've struck the first blow. The advantage, for the moment, is ours. He will have little choice but to show himself, to oppose us directly. He will strike back at us. The only question that remains is how soon.
There he is, right just now, actually.
Loghain, This is an honor, that the Regent would find time to greet me personally.
How could I not welcome a man so important as to call every lord in Ferelden away from his estates, while a blight claws at our land?
The blight is why I'm here. With Kalrin dead, Ferelden must have a king to lead it against the Darkspawn.
Ferelden has a strong leader. Its queen. And I lead her armies.
Considering Ostagar, perhaps we need a better general.
And who is this, Eamon? Some new stray you picked up on the road? And here I thought it was only royal bastards you play the nursemaid to, not Orzamar's rejects.
Well, you're admitting the royal part. That's a start.
Oh, how do I respond to this? Okay. I'm Kalrin of the Grey Wardens.
You have my sympathies on what happened to your order. It is unfortunate that they chose to turn against Ferelden.
I don't accept the sympathies of deserters and regicides.
You should curb your tongue. This is my city, and no safe place to speak treason. For anyone. There is talk that your illness left you feeble, Eamon. Some worry that you may no longer be fit to advise Ferelden.
Illness? Why not call your poison by its true name? Not everyone at the Landsmeet will cast aside their loyalties as easily as you and these sycophants.
How long you've been gone from court, Eamon? Don't you recognize Rendon Howe, Arl of Amaranthine, and Terran of Highever?
And current Arl of Denerim, since Urien's unfortunate fate at Ostagar. The Regent has been generous to those who prove loyal.
Oh, but looking appears to be profitable these days.
Don't interrupt, Churl. Your betters are talking.
Betters?
Enough, Kalthrian. This is not the time or place. I had hoped to talk you down from this rash course, Eamon. Our people are frightened. Our king is dead. Our land is under siege. We must be united now if we are to endure this crisis. Your own sister, Queen Rowan, fought tirelessly to see Ferelden restored. Would you see her work destroyed? You divide our nation and weaken our efforts against the Blight, with your selfish ambitions to the throne.
You're the one who divided Ferelden.
I was not talking to you.
I cannot forgive what you've done, Loghain. Perhaps the Maker can, but not I. Our people deserve a king of the Theron bloodline. Alistair will be the one to lead us to victory in this blight.
Oh, is that all I have to do? No pressure.
The Emperor of Orlais also thought I could not bring him down. Expect no more mercy than I showed him. There is nothing I would not do for my homeland.
Well, that was bracing. I didn't expect Loghain to show himself quite so soon.
Have you known Loghain a long time?
My sister married King Merrick while he was still in exile. At that time, he and Loghain were inseparable. The wild prince who'd never seen the inside of a castle, and the farmer's son. When Loghain joined Merrick's rebels, he was just a raw-boned boy, but he got on one knee to swear that he would see Ferelden free or die trying.
Sound like you admire him.
He made us a free people once more. You can't know what it was like to grow up as a vassal in your own land, while poncy little Orlesians minced around in their silks. I would never have believed he would do anything but what was best for Ferelden. We need eyes and ears in the city. Loghain has been here for months. The roots of all his schemes must begin here. The sooner we find them, the better we can turn them to our advantage. Go have a look around, and see what you can turn up. Better yet, find the nobles who have arrived for the Landsmeet. Test the waters. See how many will support us. When you're ready to talk strategy, come upstairs to my sitting room. We can lay out our plans for the Landsmeet then.
Thank you, Arl Eamon. Standard barrier achievement unlocked, quest complete, and here we are. This is our new camp, I guess, the base of operations. We got everyone here. Shale standing guard, it seems. Let's check out the place. We got Shale over here. She looks like she's standing guard in front of this place. Or maybe she is, I don't know. Or just standing there, who knows. There's the estate exterior. Okay,
Is it true there's a prince among the Arl's visitors?
Actually, there is a prince, but he just doesn't want to be called himself. Letter. Injury kit, sweet. This will be helpful.
Is it true there's a prince among the Arl's visitors?
Dionol. Count of the free marches. There's Liliana over here. Another book. History of Elden, chapter 2. The Zeveron. Servant working over there. On this area, there is. Margot's over there, it seems. There's Ogden, of course, he'll be in the dining table. What do you expect of him?
I'd better not catch you trying to serve brown bread to the guests again, Alana, or I'll have your eye. Here,
Undercook skill.
Tell me if it's in need of any more spice. To not catch you trying to serve brown bread to the guests again.
Anything else? There's a maid. Excuse me. Now here seems to lead inside more. An Igelia. Okay, seems to be an elven woman. Is she elf? Seems to like that. We'll speak to her. We'll speak to most of the people anyway at some point.
Ah, Warden. I trust you've made yourself comfortable.
Yes, very nice.
Good, because it's likely to be your last rest for a while. This is Erlina. She's...
I am Queen Enora's handmaiden. She sent me here to ask for your help.
Or perhaps the young lady prefers to speak for herself.
No. Why would I ask for our help?
The Queen. She is in a difficult position. She loved her husband, no? And trusted her father to protect him. When he returned with no king and only dark rumors, what is she to think? She worries, no? But when she tries to speak with him, he does not answer. He tells her not to trouble herself.
I think the Queen believes Logain killed Kalrin.
My Queen suspects she cannot trust her father. And Logain, he is very subtle, no? But when and how, he is privy to all the secrets and not so subtle. So she goes to how? A visit from the Queen to the new Arl of Denerim is only a matter of courtesy, and she demands answers.
I guess it didn't go well.
He calls her every sort of name, traitor being the kindest, and locks her in a guest room.
Sure, she has shoulders. Let them free her.
I think
open up wrong
her
one.
life is in danger.
Frick.
I heard how say she would be a greater ally dead than alive, especially if her death could be blamed on Arl Eamon.
But Logain kills Honor just to frame Eamon.
We may have no choice but to trust Honora. The Queen is well loved. If Logain succeeded in pinning her death on me, I'm not sure that's a risk we can afford to take.
So what do you propose to do?
I have some uniforms. I'll hire so many new girls every day. A few more will not cause much stir. I will show you to the servants' entrance. We must slip in and out with my queen before anyone is the wiser. I will go ahead to House Estate. Meet me there as soon as you can.
Okay, so you have another quest, I guess, before we have to save her. Rescue the Queen, Denerim. Landsmeet. Landsmeet, Logain still. Well, we'll see if we can do anything first for Arl Eamon before we go and save Honora. I think saving Honora first of all will be difficult first. Just locked. King Merrick Terran. Hey, there's Alice over there also. What are we doing right now?
I haven't been here in a while. They've changed the dining room. Something on your mind?
Other questions?
Of course.
Never mind. Probably they'll just have like one line like, oh, this is an interesting place and all that. Okay, let's see what else we have around. This seems where our party must be then. This is our room. A dog. The dog is over there. Hey, Scully.
This is not as defensible as I would like, but it will do. Yes. As you wish.
We'll continue, we'll get going.
If one more servant asks if I would like a change of clothes, I will set the house on fire.
Please no.
I await your command.
Please, Morgan, do not set the house on fire. This is our main base of operations. If this is set on fire, plus the Templars will be after you, so...
Yes.
And I don't know how much he'll protect you. That's not a chest over here. Scale gloves, red steel. Okay, lootable, I guess. Nigeria.
Excuse me, I have to dust the Arl's sitting room.
Are you from Denerim?
No, I'm from Redcliffe. Lady Isolde brought me here to be her chambermaid last spring. I've family here, though. I beg your pardon, sir, but I really can't be seen standing about. The housekeeper will have my head. Good day.
Good day to you too, miss. How are you doing, Shale?
Everything in here appears to be breakable. It seems most impractical.
Never mind for now. Servant over there, working. At the mall. How's Everin?
You know, I could get to like this. The last time I came to Denerim, I stayed at an inn so filthy the bed bugs had fleas.
Ouch.
What say you?
Never mind.
This is
Liliana?
a nice change from having to sleep in the woods, isn't it? Looking for little old me?
What do you know of this place?
Denerim is Ferelden's most important city, yes? This is the seat of power, the jewel in the crown of the king. She is Ferelden's heart. Her walls are strong, but within them lies so much beauty, just like the country and the people.
I'll just move on. Thank you for the information, though. Denoel.
I hope all the accommodations are to your liking, Warden. Please let me know if anything is troubling you.
Thank you very much, good man. Okay, what about over here? What do we have? Ogren. How's Ogren doing?
What you need?
Of course he would burp.
Aye, alright then.
But anyway, alright, we talked to the party here, just got their opinions over here. And to be honest, as much as I continue, I think I'm going to end the episode here. It seems like a good spot to end before we enter Denerim and start the Denerim questline, the major questline specifically, to see what we can do. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you have queries or questions, if you're watching on YouTube. You can catch me at Twitch, SkullHunter006, and you can follow me so you can catch the streams when they're being announced. In the meantime, guys, I'll catch you all later. See you later.